Welcome to Excel Intuition's first date function challenges video. I highly recommend you download your own copy of this workbook because you're going to want to try this on your own before you watch the solutions. Suzanne here, and I'm going to jump to the date calcs on birth dates worksheet. So here we are. We have a date exercise using a small selection of present and past world leaders. And each of the names has a link going to a website that gives more information about this person. But what we've got for our exercise, we have the birth dates, the year they became a world leader, and then some different calculations to complete. To start things off, we want to enter a function for today's date. So I'm going to click into this cell and enter today, and the today function has no arguments, and we see that this is April 6, 2023 when this video is being recorded. So the first thing we want to do for the goal is to be able to get the approximate, one of the things we want to calculate is the approximate age when each of these people became a world leader, and then if they have passed away, the age at which they died, and if they're alive, what their current age is, what their birthday is this year, and what their half-year birthday would be following the birthday this year. And then I think maybe we'll add one more, has their birthday passed already this year? Now that might be a good thing to also do in this example. So first, to get the birth year, we're going to use the year function applied to their birth date. Then the birth month, we'll use the month function applied to their birth date. And the day of month they were born is the day function applied to their birth date. And we can put that function down the column for each of those columns. Then we want to calculate the approximate age each became a world leader. And we're going to do that just by subtracting the year they became a world leader, subtracting their birth year from that year. So G7 in the first row minus D7. The year they became a leader minus the year they were born. Now, if we want to calculate the age at which they passed away, we only want to show a value in this column if we have a value in the death date column. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and use an if function, and our is blank function, we're checking to see if it's blank in the death date column. If it is blank, then we're going to put the age at death to also be blank, which is just quote, quote, for an empty value in the cell. Otherwise, we want to subtract the year. We want to start with the year at which the person died and subtract from that the year that they were born to get the approximate age of death. And then we need to close. Okay, I think that's got it. So we're blank here. We only have an approximate age of death for 2 of these people, and Nelson Mandela was approximately 95 when he passed away. And Shinzo Abe was 68. Now that was a very recent this past year that Shinzo Abe passed away. Now, if they're alive, we want to calculate their current age. And we're going to do a similar if function. If the date is blank, then we presume they're still alive because we don't have a date there. And so we're going to calculate their current age, and we'll do that by taking the year of today year of today's date and subtracting from that the birth year of the individual. Otherwise, we want to leave this cell empty because they haven't passed away. And we're doing something wrong. And what are we doing wrong? We have to put an absolute value on the year of today because it is in one place and we don't want it to change when we copy that formula down the column. So I'm going to use my F4 key to put dollar signs in front of the column and the row, and we'll try again. So these look, we want to always check and see if our values that we're getting as a result make sense. And we see that all three of these individuals were born the same year, so it makes sense that their current age is similar. Now, if we want to get the birthday this year, this is a chance to use our date function. We want the year of today, and this is where we want to remember to use the F4 key so that we put the same value in each row of this column. And then we want the month for the person in the current row. And we want the day of month for the person in the current row. So June 1st, 2023 for someone born June 1st, 1975 makes sense. And now we can go another step further and say half year birthday following this year's birthday. And I'm going to also do this one from the beginning, the date function, the year of today's date, absolute reference, and then the month of the person's birthday, but this time adding 6 to that. 6 months in the future of this year's birthday. And then the day of the person's birthday. So we see that this one is actually still in the same year as is this one because the birthdays are early enough. But then some of these are in 2024. Now, let's add one more column here. Has the birthday passed already? We'll format it to look like the one cell next to it. Now, we want to know, is this birthday already passed this year. And we're just going to say yes if it's already happened, or even if it's today. So only if the birthday this year is greater than today's date are we going to say no. If it is today's date, we're just going to say that it has passed, because we're only going to have two outcomes, yes or no. We're not going to have a different outcome for the birthday being today. So I'm going to go ahead and format this with some grid lines. And we'll put a function in here. If this birthday is greater than today's date, then the birthday has not passed. Else, yes, the birthday has passed. Because the dates in the future are higher values than the present date, and dates in the past are lower values than the present date. So if the birthday this year is greater than today's date, then the birthday has not passed yet. And we have to remember to put an absolute reference on today, the reference to today's date. But we want to still have a relative reference to the birthday of this person in this row. So the birthday hasn't passed yet for someone whose birthday is on June 1st. The only person whose birthday has passed is the person who was born in January. Matteo Renzi from Italy. And that's the end of this date function challenge. We have a second date function challenge looking at expiration dates calculations. Thank you.